Hey everyone, you're listening to InfoQuench with Jeff.
And Amy. We're chatting about how to get the most out of life.
And covering a ton of interesting topics.
So there's sure to be something.
For just about everyone. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, and welcome to InfoQuench. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Amy, and we're coming at you with another episode, and we're trying to get them out a little bit more regularly, maybe 2 a month. You think that's a good goal?
This is our third in a month and a half.
Well, there you go. I guess we're right on schedule.
Right on schedule. And people actually have picked up the listening, which is really nice.
It is.
So thank you so much to all those people out there who listen. We know we told a story about one of our friends in Costa Rica, and we know he listened to that story and got back to us and thought it was hilarious. So thank you, Andre.
Oh, and now he's been outed.
He's been outed.
There's
lots of Andres.
It's time for a bird feeder update. Our bird feeder is now sitting inside.
Yes, we're waiting for the mice to start eating the bird food because you know what? I can't get past. I just can't get past the fact that pigeons, greedy, super always hungry pigeons, have just been cleaning up this bird feed. They're not supposed to be able to perch on these feeders, but I don't know, man. These St. John pigeons are just next level.
Why do you hate pigeons so much?
I don't hate them. They poop all over our backyard. That's what I can't stand.
But other animals
and it's
poop.
Toxic
but you
stuff.
seem to really hate the pigeons.
I do.
It's next level.
I want that bird feeder to be for the birds, the little tiny birds that need the food. Pigeons, they just go up the street to the park and get all kinds of bread and stuff. But I cannot, you're right, I cannot stand that the pigeons have been eaten out of our bird feeder that's meant for these little birds.
Okay, I just find it fascinating. It's like it's a little extra level of. I think it's because you just see them as being greedy birds, and you don't like greed.
And I don't like Did you see all the poop out in the backyard?
Well, not now, because now we just have an indoor bird feeder, which serves absolutely no purpose.
Well, hopefully the birds figure out that they have to knock on the door and come in and eat and feed and get the food that way.
It's literally been sitting inside the back entrance for, I think, it's been a few weeks now.
I can't sit there and have these like.
So what, are we just not going to use the bird feeder anymore?
I think it'll be a little less like pigeon centric. Once the weather gets a little cooler and stuff, I think I don't know. I get a feeling that they won't be.
You think the pigeons are going to go away? I don't think the pigeons are
going
to
go away, but I don't think they'll be as prevalent.
Do you think they'll forget about it and they'll move on and then we'll put it back out? No,
because they wait up on the roof for me to put it out.
I don't understand the logic of having it inside.
I'd rather have it inside than see the pigeons eat that food.
So... Okay, well, I want to let's circle back to the fact that you said the mice are going to eat. We actually don't have mice. No, I know, surprisingly. I don't think we've talked about this, but Charlie was a big part of the podcast, and Charlie passed on.
Oh, yeah, we didn't, did we?
I don't think we did. He hit the finish line of his this life called Cat, and he... Yeah. Left us in.
His life called Cat?
I don't know. I was trying to wax poetic there, but I lost it. I didn't
He left us in this life called Cat. I love it. That's just good.
We miss Charlie. Charlie was awesome, but he did move on. We were actually away on vacation, and he died while we were away.
And remember, we asked a friend to watch Charlie while we were away, and he's like, I don't know, I have this crazy fear that something bad will happen while you're away, and then that's exactly what happened.
I know, he had a premonition, I guess. Yeah. It's hard. We were, as a family, we really, really missed Charlie, and we're really sad, but we have a lot of great memories of Charlie, and he was a big part of the podcast. And you know what? His scent must be around the house because the mice are staying away. We have not had...
for now. Right now, though, we are cleaning up after Charlie because he scratched the textured wallpaper that goes up our stairs. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty much been a mess for a decade, and well, shortly after we moved in, he started scratching it, and we just didn't fix it because we were like, he's just going to keep scratching it.
Yeah, we couldn't stop him from doing it. That's the thing, like we couldn't stop him from doing it.
And then when he died, we're like, okay, now we don't have an excuse. We've got to fix this wallpaper, which has been a process.
Holy. I mean, when you peel a wallpaper off a wall that is a plaster wall, you never know what you're going to get. And we got a little bit of everything. Kitchen sink.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Our house was built in
Patches, holes.
it was literally built in the 1800s. So there's always a lot of surprises when you're doing work on older homes, and this is going to be a little bit of a task, a little bit of a.
We're getting there though. Getting there. It's going to look great when it's done.
I have faith. I have faith in our ability to make this happen.
We had a big conversation like whether or not we should get a contractor to come in and do it, and I'm like, I just thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I think we can do this. Anyway, enough of that. What are we talking about this podcast?
Well, we're going to be doing the same things that we have been doing. We're going to talk about some tips, the other people's tips, and we're going to tell our listeners what we think of them, whether we think they're good tips or not. Well, the first one, this fits quite well with our wallpaper project. The idea is that done is better than perfect.
That's what I said. Remember when I was doing the wall and I was taking off the wallpaper and I realized that there's all these like mesh patches and stuff like that, and I was like, listen, honey, are you going to be okay if this wall isn't perfectly flat, like chip rock and stuff? And
what did I say?
You're
what
like,
did I say,
it's
Jeff?
no problem as long as it's done.
You know what I did say though? Don't leave the utility knife cranked out in its sharp position on the stairs. I did that once though. It was buried in a loose pile of shredded wallpaper.
Well, if it was buried, how was I supposed to see that it was there?
How was I supposed to see it if I was walking up the stairs and stepped into a utility
I didn't
knife?
know it was there if it's buried.
But
it probably
you were
got
using
buried
it.
while I was working really hard, taking the wallpaper off.
And then you left the blade out.
Only once.
It was basically almost like it was a trap. It was hidden on the stairs in a pile of shredded wallpaper. Like
nothing bad happened.
Nothing happened, but it could have.
Yeah, it could have.
Just like when you stick your arm out a window of a moving car, it might not get ripped off, but it could.
It really could.
My mother
especially
always
if
told
another
me
car
that.
was coming at that time.
The other day I saw someone waving, how they put their arm out the window and they kind of just ride the air wave with their arm going up and down, and it looks so fun.
Yes.
And I saw someone doing that, and I thought, if my mother was watching this, she'd tell them, you're going to get your arm ripped off by a passing car.
Yeah. That sounds pretty accurate, actually.
Well, and I've said the same thing to our son, so it's...
Well, actually, you should tell the story then about our son when he saw a bunch of kids playing in the woods.
So we had, on a more serious note, I guess, the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation in Canada was September 30th, and it is each year, and we were essentially on a healing walk at our local park, one of our beautiful municipal parks, Rockwood Park. And we were waiting for some ceremonies to begin that were led by our local Indigenous people. So our son and I were standing, just waiting, and I thought he was being really patient. And I looked over, and there were a group of boys that were around his age, and they ran off to play in the woods. And I thought, here he is, waiting with his mom for the ceremony, and he's being patient. He probably wishes he was off playing in the woods, and the plight of the only child who has to sit there with their parents. And I looked down at him, and he looked up he looked up at me, and he just said, "Ticks."
The ticks. You know what, though? That's a direct result to your conditioning.
My indoctrination.
Your indoctrination
of the fear of
into
ticks
that kid is just like you in the respect that if it's possible that something could go wrong in a situation, he's going to worry about.
Well,
it,
he's just
like a utility knife on the steps.
Well, that's right, and that's how we avoid losing toes and catching Lyme disease.
Yes.
And I was very proud of him in that moment. Also, a little sad.
You laughed. Actually,
I did
inwardly
laugh.
Laughed.
I was a
did you
little
not?
sad that was the thing, but he wasn't. He wasn't sad about missing out on them playing. He was like, I don't have to get covered in ticks, so there's that.
It's so funny. It is really funny. Could he be a country kid? I don't think so.
I don't know.
No, he hates any bug. Any bug.
You do too, though.
Oh, we all do. We're a family of bug haters. We do not like bug. The only bug I really like is dragonflies. I love dragonflies. Love them.
What do you
They don't bite, and they're beautiful. They're like little helicopters, little insect helicopters flying around. They're amazing. you remember we went on that lake or little pond when we were away in the Kingston Peninsula, and there was all those blue
yes,
dragonflies landing on our
They were like
oars and on
electric
our
blue.
eyelashes. It was amazing.
they weren't on our eyelashes.
I
don't
know
know where.
that's a little too far. I know.
It was a beautiful image
Yeah.
that did not happen. But I love the idea.
Just
of
look
it.
up to the sky and let the dragonfly land right on
This
your
reminds
eyelash.
me, another thing that happened at that same healing walk is once the ceremony started, and it's very somber and everybody's standing around listening. And this little boy behind me, he's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6, tugs on my coat. And I looked down and he said, "I just wanted to let you know that a spider just crawled up the back of your coat." I looked at him, I'm like, oh, is that so? And I took off my coat and then shook it out. And then I turned around.
Oh, is that so, young child?
And I asked her son,
Well,
I'm like, "Can you check my back and just see if there's any spiders in
I shall
my
calmly
hair
try
or-"
and find that spider.
And then his mother, the little boy's mother, leaned in. She said it was
Give me
just
a
a
break.
little spider. And I'm like, I think that's kind of worse because now I'm never going to find it.
But the thing is, though, that kid had the wherewithal and the kindness to tell you about
I
this
kind of
spider.
almost wish he hadn't told me because then through the whole ceremony, I was completely focused on.
Well, we
whether
all
there
know
was-
it went right in your ear.
That happens.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know.
Is done better than perfect? Well, we'll see with our wallpaper. But you know what? I don't know if that's always the case because
Should I do a before picture and an after picture of our wall?
Well, yes.
Well, no, probably not because it's not going to be the best.
I guess
job.
any picture in that area for the last 10 years is a before picture.
That's true. That's
because
true.
it's been shredded. It's been a shredded mess for a long, long time.
The problem is that there's just so many different layers of patch jobs. There's like patch job after patch job, and when you're peeling off the layer of wallpaper, you never know how much it's going to take. So sometimes it goes right down to those old-fashioned mesh. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
like
yeah.
the mesh patch jobs.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Sometimes there's just
When the doorknob
plain
goes
old
through the
holes.
wall, that's what you use.
Yeah. So I got to spackle that stuff anyway.
And how many times, and anybody who's owned a home and has started to dig into the layers of wallpaper have thought of the previous owners and maybe cursed them a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, and then I'm like, okay, that's why they had that really thick textured wallpaper on it. They were like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, let's get this ready to sell.
Incidentally, so are you. You're doing some cursing because somebody leaves a utility knife on the stairs.
That's right. And I'll do extra
Open.
cursing if I end up in the emergency room.
Glistening blade out. Ready to slice a
I
toe.
only the tip of the blade was caught my eye in the light.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know it was there because it was buried under my work.
You're the one who put it there.
Yeah, but I cleaned up everything else. You didn't see any other toys there. Tools
Toys,
there.
exactly. They're not.
Tools. Did ya? I cleaned up every other tool.
No, yeah, you did, except for the
'Cause I didn't
giant
see
sharp
it.
knife. So I'll give you some examples when done is not better than perfect. Surgery.
Yeah. You need surgeries to go perfect.
You do. And then brakes being fixed on your car.
Oh, I thought you meant like
Kind of
breaks from
needs
work.
to be perfect. Parachutes, that's another
Yep.
one.
Parachutes, yeah.
Yeah, that done is not better. It needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
When life is on the line,
Yeah.
that one doesn't apply. The next tip is around cooking.
Cooking. Wow. Okay.
Cooking pollutes the air, so opening windows for a few minutes after cooking can dramatically improve air quality. I think about the other night when I came home and I'm
Holy.
like, hey, Jeff, why is the door closed to the kitchen? And I
Yeah.
could hear you on the other side. You're like, because I'm cooking steak. Because
I
every
cooked a
time
ribeye for the first time ever, actually. And I was warned that, okay, it was going to make a lot of smoke when you cook it. But God, the house seemed like it was on fire. Like I had to put dishcloths over top of all of the smoke
looked at
alarms
it
and
just
stuff.
looked like a fog. We live in a foggy city, but it was much foggier inside the house. And
I mean,
and it was freezing outside.
what a
and
delicious
you had
steak, though.
It was cold.
Oh, it was not. You're always cold.
But that's,
You are.
well, is that
Well,
a personal
well.
failing? Is that a personal,
What?
like, it's, you say that like you're irritated by my being cold.
No, whatever is going on in the house, you're cold. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but it doesn't
If
sound
I'm
like
cooking
you're,
steak or if I'm playing guitar, you're cold.
Well, okay, but is that my fault?
No, but I'm just
Just a
saying you're always.
statement?
Am I wrong in saying you're always cold?
No,
Okay.
No,
then
you're not.
it's not an attack. It's just a fact.
That's why we must retire to a tropical climate. It's just because you
We
say
are,
it with
and then
a
Hux is
level
gonna follow
of
us
frustration. It was more like, you're always cold.
Oh, no, but you are. I'm just saying.
Well, okay then. So, opening your windows is supposed to clear your air quality. But we live in Canada, and in the wintertime, opening up the windows just like it's a balance of, do I want to be in this smoke, or do I want to lose all this heat that we just paid for?
Right.
So there's that balance. I also kind of like the smell of certain things like bacon. If bacon's cooking, I want that
Pretty
smell.
good for a vegetarian, mostly. You love your bacon. It's like
That's
meat,
why I can't
it's like
be a
meat
vegetarian.
candy, right?
Well, that's why I can't be a vegetarian. It's bacon related.
Anyway.
We all have our things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about polluted air for a minute, because we had an industrial fire here in St. John.
Oh, yes.
About 2 weeks ago, I guess now, maybe 3. And it was a next level apocalyptic experience, I'll tell you, because this fire broke out in a metal scrap yard, and we're a port city, so there are a lot of ships coming in and out, and this scrap yard is located in proximity to the urban core, so very densely
Probably about
populated
like 2
area.
miles from us, I would say. 2 or 3 miles away
And
from us.
the fire was so extensive that essentially there was a shelter-in-place order issued, and
They canceled
people had-
school for the day. They sent kids home.
Yeah, and people had to keep their windows closed, turn off HVAC systems, and it was pretty toxic. And now they're in the process of testing soil to see if anything's been contaminated.
Pretty slow getting the information, though, to people when it comes to, growing their own food.
Yeah, that was like a 2 week later. I am listening to an
2
interview,
yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know I was not supposed to eat my vegetables
Yeah.
outside." And maybe some people were like, "That's logical." And
By the
for
way,
us-
if you grow your own food, freeze it and then wait for the results as to whether or not you can eat it or not.
Well-
And then there's like so many people commenting saying, "What? I already ate all this food." Like, what am I going to turn... Am I going to grow an extra eye here soon or something? Like,
just waiting to
anyway.
find. Now we don't grow.
We only feed the birds, kind of.
Yes. It's hey, you know what, Jeff? You bring it in that bird feeder, probably save that feed, and now it's safe bird seed for nobody.
Oh, that's right.
Nobody.
It would have been
used that.
contaminated.
Will you put it out in
otherwise.
the winter at least?
Oh, it's going out.
Let me remind
It's
the
your
listeners,
your
it was
bird
my
feeder. We
birthday
bought it
gift,
for you for your birthday.
and now it sits on a counter.
That's right.
In the back entranceway for
Okay,
nobody.
if you're
to
okay
enjoy.
going out and cleaning up all that pigeon poop, then I'll put it out.
I feel like the cold months are the most important months to feed the birds. All
Maybe.
the birds.
I don't know.
I wanted to mention a few books that I'm reading. This is an aside. But you know what? I love good book recommendations. So, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. If I haven't mentioned it already,
I think you have, and you love that book.
I did love that book. I had this tendency to download the Kindle samples of books, so you can download a sample for free from Amazon.
Yeah.
And then I read the sample, and then I move on to the next book sample.
Next sample, yeah. Well, that's a good way to figure out whether or not you want to read the entire book.
I think it's for me. I just can't decide. So I've read like All the Nasty Bits is an Anthony Bourdain book. I just finished reading that sample.
What's that all about?
Very,
now? Did he write it?
yeah.
And so
Yeah, it's a
what
collection of articles and essays and things that he wrote. That's a compilation, but it's his
He
writing.
did do a lot of articles before he started.
I've
his
got the
first
sample downloaded if you want to read it.
book. I can't. I don't know what
I'm
it
gonna
is.
make-
I sound like a prude, but I can't read digitally. I have to have the book.
You do sound like a prude, which is why our whole house is filled with books
That's
that
true.
you have not read.
That's true.
Meanwhile, I read all of my books and they're digital.
Guilty as charged.
Another great book that I downloaded a sample reading, Wise Heart Guide to the Universal Teachings of Buddhist Philosophy by Jack Kornfield.
Yes, you started this really interesting thing when you get home. Like as soon as you get home, you go up and you start meditating, and you do it for what, an hour or a half hour?
No, well, 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
So in the early morning when I first wake up, and then after work. And I've periodically throughout my life, I've tried meditation, and it's not stuck for whatever reason. I don't know if I just don't have the patience for it. I know it's supposed to build patience, so probably the fact that it hasn't stuck is probably a sign that I need it more. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I've decided to try doing some transcendental meditation.
I find it
Very
really
basic
interesting
practice.
that you decide to do this at meditation. I just find that fascinating.
Well, we can't disclose it because it's my secret spot.
Why do you want it secret?
Because if somebody breaks into the house and I'm meditating, I don't want them to be able to find me in a
You think about this?
Yes.
Oh God! So you don't want me to share where it is? Okay,
no.
I won't.
If someone breaks in,
I will
they'll
honor.
be like, I wonder if there's anybody in here. I better first check this secluded spot where Amy meditates.
Is that why I sleep closest to the door so that I get murdered first?
That's exactly it.
Wow.
That's
it's
exactly
like I
it.
know my wife.
I know. Don't worry, I have a fire extinguisher in our bedroom. This is my plan, folks. Here's a tip. If you have a two-floor home, well, it's good to have a fire extinguisher in various locations throughout your house. I actually keep one in our bedroom.
Where is it? I've never even seen it.
Don't worry, I got us covered.
Okay.
We're not disclosing the location of that fire extinguisher.
Okay, let's not then.
So if somebody comes up the stairs...
What if there's a fire and I need to put it out?
I'll tell you later, hon.
Okay. Oh, right, not on the air so everybody else knows where our fire extinguisher is. What if neither of us... What if we're both murdered and somebody has to come up and put the fire out?
Well, then, I don't know.
All right, continue, sorry.
So the plan with this fire extinguisher is, as the murderer is coming up the stairs... I will open up that fire extinguisher onto them. And as they're blinded by the white foam or whatever comes out of this fire extinguisher.
Whatever comes out of it. I do believe it's grape Kool-Aid.
I feel like I've not discharged it. But I assume it's some sort of white foamy thing based on what I've watched on movies. Mm-hmm. And while they're blinded by the foam, I'll then bludgeon them to death with the actual extinguisher. And then we'll make a run for it.
But wait, don't we have a bat somewhere too?
But wait, there's more.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
We have a bat.
Okay. I thought there was like a backup bat.
So one of us will be working with the fire extinguisher. See,
right.
You don't need guns.
Well, I get the bat?
You do not need guns.
Wait, I'm already dead. I'm closest to the door.
I think you took the bat and you used it for regular bat activities like baseball, and I don't know that you returned it to its place. That's why I can't tell you where the fire extinguisher is, because you might move it on me.
Well, I don't know where that bat is, but anyway,
well, there you go, right? So
I know where the utility knife is, though, and it's not on the stairs.
I know where the fire extinguisher is, and it's exactly where I left it.
Yeah, I think I know where it is too, but I'm not going to share it with anybody because I don't want them to find it.
So another great book that I read was Alan Watts's The Wisdom of Insecurity. Alan Watts is not an easy read.
No, it's very academic.
I did this on it was a vacation read, and I'm like, it was heavy. I enjoyed it.
You tried to read Thoreau too.
I always try to, but then I remember reading that it wasn't authentic, that he actually went to his mother's house to do his laundry while he was living near the pond.
That doesn't sound right at all.
And then that runs through my head. I still think Thoreau's got a ton of great...
Kerouac lived with his mother, too, while he was an alcoholic. He drank himself to death, living with his mother.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that. They think, this Beat Generation, God. But, he had a really rough end to his life.
I like Kerouac.
Yeah, I know you do. But he lived with his mother.
That's okay.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with living with your mother.
It's okay to be a mama's boy.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Let's go back to another tip.
Okay.
I'm just going to put this one out here. Food taste can be made more exciting with simple seasoning, and it's also the opportunity for expression. So buy a few herbs and spices and experiment away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You agree with that one?
Well, I agree with that one. As you know, I make Huck's and many of his friends think is famous popcorn, and I use Cajun spice. So that there's the secret right there. That's what they like most about it, and Parmesan cheese.
But when you cook, when you burn Cajun spice, it makes some kind of weird. It takes my breath away.
That's not Cajun spice. That's cayenne.
The other C word.
Oh yeah. That's another C word. Yeah, that's cayenne. You can't. You got to put cayenne spice on at the end of what you're cooking. You can't cook it; it'll take your breath away.
I wonder though, is that? I feel like it's a carcinogen of some sort. Like that sensation you get.
This I do not know. I know it tastes great. That's all I know.
I want to talk to you for a minute about convertibles. I made a little note about this.
Convertibles? Cars?
Yeah, when you walk by a convertible with the top down,
you automatically think, oh, it's going to rain.
That's exactly it.
See, I don't. That's the difference between you and I. It's really interesting, actually. We have a different philosophy when it comes to convertibles. Okay? You automatically think the worst. Oh, it's going to rain and they're going to ruin the interior of their car.
Birds are going to poop in it. Or someone's going to walk by and dump a milkshake in it.
Yeah, a litany of different things that could go wrong.
Right.
Whereas when I think of a convertible, I think of being on the open road.
Like Thelma and Louise?
Well, not quite.
Before the cliff?
Not
before the
cliff. I
cliff.
was just going to say, not quite going over a cliff, honey, but more just enjoying the experience of having a convertible.
Right. But I'm like, there's the convertible just open for everybody to steal from.
Well, I mean, a conscientious owner of a convertible wouldn't leave something there to be stolen. You wouldn't leave your phone in the middle console.
Someone could just stand there and urinate in it.
Well, that could happen, honey, but the chances of that happen, or even slicing your toe on a utility knife, is
even
very,
if there
very
were an open sunroof on a car. I think someone's dumping a milkshake. I don't know why it's a milkshake. I just feel like that again. I must have seen that somewhere in a movie.
I have a question for you. How do you go through life constantly thinking of the worst thing that can happen?
See, you have the luxury of not having to worry because I do the worrying of 1,000
I never
people.
worry anyway, though, even if I didn't know you from a hole in the wall, which we have a lot of going up the stairs. I don't understand how you enjoy life when you're constantly worrying about life.
Oh, I enjoy life very much.
Are you thinking about milkshakes, some other people's convertible cars?
I'm thinking about the good stuff just as often as I'm thinking about the bad stuff.
I don't know about that.
That's what the meditation's all about.
Ticks. The meditation. Hey, where do you meditate again?
In that secret location.
Yes, the secret location.
It's not a panic room. We don't have a panic room.
It doesn't make any sense to me, the location you chose. I want everybody to guess what that situation is.
The fact that it doesn't make sense to you tells me it was the perfect location to choose because nobody will ever guess it.
No, it's true, actually. I mean, you know what? The thing is, honey, if it works for you, then go for it.
Yeah, and it seems to be, and it seems as though you're not judging it at all.
You told me you feel really cozy in that spot.
I do.
And I looked at that spot and thought, that's the last place I would ever meditate.
It's not in the bathroom. Let's just say it's not in a bathroom.
It's not in the bathroom. All right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to end with one last tip. And this is just my own tip. Because everybody always goes on about, oh, your Facebook account's been hacked. You know what's happening?
Yeah.
Is people are making their friends lists visible.
Yeah.
So what happens is somebody goes in and just creates a Jeff McLennan account.
Wait, why are you focusing on me?
Because I'm looking at you, so you're a good example.
Okay, good.
This is theoretical. So they take your profile photo, they start up another Jeff McLennan account, then they have full access to your list of friends because you didn't hide it in your privacy settings, and then they essentially can go in and message your friends and have it look like it's coming from you.
They could steal one of your
photos. And then everybody thinks, oh, somebody hacked Jeff's account. No, what they did is they created a duplicate account that looks just like Jeff's account, and they use his friends list.
With the older generation, though, like I got hacked is just the overall terminology.
But it's a very different scenario than somebody going in and guessing your password and accessing your Facebook account. Yeah, no, it's somebody created a fake profile that looks like you, and you have your friends list on full display.
Yeah.
And so they are basically messaging your friends pretending to be you. So I guess my tip on this one is don't make your friends list public.
Don't do it.
All right. Well, that was all over the place, but hey.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed our meanderings.
Yeah, maybe when we do our next podcast, we'll have an update on this wallpaper. And
just don't.
We'll have our toes in place. And
don't leave your utility knife on the stairs.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
Be sure to check out past episodes and subscribe to keep up with what's new.
You can find us anywhere you get your podcast, and why not leave a review?
You can also follow Infrequent on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Till next time.